Welcome back. We're at skill 5 of 6. So this skill is ridiculous because everyone always gets this wrong and then they get the skill 6 correct, even though this is easier. The reason why is this confuses you because you're used to finding the slope. In this kind of problem, they already give you the slope. We remember that the value of m is the slope. So we're trying to write an equation in the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So we already know that this one is y equals 4x. The problem is we don't know what the y-intercept is yet. So we're going to use our equation y is equal to mx plus b. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to label this x and I'm going to label this y. Those of you that refuse to do that are the ones that mix up the ordered pair here when you're solving for b. So when I look up, I know that y isn't y anymore, y is going to be replaced with 9. So 9 is equal to the value of m, which is 4, multiplied by the value of x in my ordered pair, which is 1 plus b. So that's going to give me 9 is equal to 4 plus b. I now need to solve the equation to get b by itself. I'm going to subtract 4 here, I'm going to subtract 4 here, and I get that the value of b is 5. So I can now go back into my equation, and I know that it is y is equal to 4x plus 5. Then I can go back to my ordered pair and I can make sure that it works. I know that if I have 4 and I multiply it by my x value, 1, and I add 5, I'm supposed to get 9. Well, 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 plus 5 is 9. So my ordered pair works in my equation. So I'm going to go on to my next problem here where I already know the slope. So I know I've got y equals negative 2x, but I do need the y-intercept still. So I know this is x, this is y, so I'm writing y equals mx plus b. The more you write, the fewer mistakes that you make. So y becomes 2. M, we can tell up here in the equation, is negative 2. I'm going to multiply it by my x value, which is 4, and then plus b. So I get 2 is equal to, well, negative 2 times 4 is negative 8 plus b. I need to get b by itself, so I'm going to add 8 to this side, so that becomes 0. Then I have to add 8 here. 2 plus 8 is 10. So I know that the value of b is 10, so I know my equation is y equals negative 2x plus 10. I'm going to check my point. So I know that x is 4. So if I do negative 2 times 4, I get negative 8. Well, negative 8 plus 10 is positive 2. And there we go. It checks out. The next ones have fractions. You guys are going to survive. We're all going to make it to see another day here with math. So we have a slope already. Now we need a y-intercept. So this is going to be y equals 1/2 x. So this is my x value, this is my y value. Y is equal to mx plus b. So here my y value is 3, so I have 3 is equal to 1/2 multiplied by x, which is 4, plus b. So here I still have 3. I know that multiplying 1/2 by 4 is asking the same thing as what is 1/2 of 4? Well, that is 2. So I have 2 plus b. I need to get b by itself. I need to make this 2 go away, so I subtract 2 to make it 0. Can't do that to one side of the equation only, so I go to this side, I subtract 2. 3 minus 2 is a positive 1, so my b value is 1. I go here and I change this to plus 1. So if I were to graph this line, I'd go to the origin, I'd go to positive 1. Oh no, that's not good. I'd go to positive 1 and I'd count up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, blah, 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 and that would be my line. All right, moving on to this one. I already know my slope, so it's going to be y equals negative 3/2 x. Now I need to find my y-intercept. Here's x, here's y. So y is equal to mx plus b. You've got maybe a calculator, you've got a phone, the internet has a calculator. There are lots of apps available that are just like the calculators that we use in class. So do your research, you'll be all right here. So y here is equal to negative 5. So negative 5 is equal to my slope, which is negative 3/2. That's not a 3. Negative 3/2 times 1 plus b. So I know that that means that negative 5 is equal to negative 3/2 plus b. Now I need to add 3 halves to both sides. So I add 3 halves. So that is -5 plus 3 halves. And I am getting -3.5. So I'm going to write that as a fraction. So that really gives me a b value of -7 halves. So again, when I did -5 plus 3 halves, I put that in parentheses. When I'm adding, I get -3.5, which is -7 halves. So I have y equals -3 halves x minus 7 halves. All right, so I actually know how to make this stop. We'll just see if I can do it. That was the problem last time. Here we go. Bye.